La Yashala. Amagium. Upon Yakudam. Turn to face the east. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. You can find it in Matthew chapter 6, verses 8 through 13. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayat. Shamkat. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Taba'a. Pratazaka. Hayat. Aisha. Barataza. Kuwa. Hayat. Bashamai. Latundanawa. Lakam. Kol. Yawam. Wasalaklanau. Kabawat now. Kasalak now. Kabawat now. Wala'a. Tabiya now. Banasai one. Abal. Hawashai now. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Ha'al. Hata Para. Lawalumya. Naaman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth,
on earth,
as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayonya, Ahahari, Mayan, Yaba'a, Azari, Ma'in, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemai, Barataza, Ariatan, Lamuwa, Regalka, Al Yanawam, Shamaka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yashal, Yahweh, Shamaka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yamyunka, Yawamama, Hashemash, La'a, Yakaka, Wairak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rat, Yashamar, Atnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazatka, Wabawaka, Maita, Wai, Alwan. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul.
The
Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in. From this time forth and even forevermore. Prayer for the Kakak, the power in Hebrew. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. Baba Kashak. Nathan Now. Kakak. Lara Fa'ah. Call Makala. Wakal Madawa. Wakal Madawa. Kakak. Latahar. Ha Matazarian. Kakak. Lahakwim. Hamathium. Kakak. Al Rakawa. Rakawa. Hatama'al. Lagarson. Bashim Yahushua. Dwaraman. In English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness.
The power to heal all manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
Against unclean spirits.
Against all clean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Pray to bless Israel. In the Hebrew. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah.
Barak Lanam.
Barakana.
Wayasha'ala.
Wayasha'ala.
Wahabayah.
Wahabayah.
Sapari.
Sapari.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'ah.
Rapa'ah.
Magun.
Magun.
Hagun.
Hagun.
At this time, you can say the name of a loved one once. Everyone repeats that name once. If you're following us on social media, you can type in the name of a loved one. We'll send the prayers up with you.
UPK Minnesota.
UPK Minnesota.
All UPK.
All UPK.
Desiree Davis.
Desiree Davis.
All the Davis family.
All the Davis family. Israelite School UPK.
Israelite School UPK.
UPK Minnesota.
UPK Minnesota.
Kodash Zayan.
Kodash Zayan.
Maccabi Yahweh.
Maccabi Mayhat.
Ban Yahweh.
Yahweh. So like you.
Chupa Kawan Yala.
Chupa Kawan Yala.
Chupa Kanagaba.
Chupa Kanagaba.
All the houses of Israel.
All the houses of Israel.
Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Jamie. Rakapah.
Rakapah.
Anali.
Anali.
The McIntosh family.
The McIntosh family.
Raphael.
Raphael.
All of Israel.
All of Israel.
Bashim Yahweh Shah.
Bashim Yahweh Shah.
Dwar Amon.
Dwar Amon.
In English. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shah.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shah.
Bless us and Israel.
Bless us and Israel.
In the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Shield.
Share.
Protect.
Protect.
Our loved ones.
Our loved ones.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al Damya Lakah. Al Tacharash. Baal Tashqua. Al Kiyahana. Awabika. Yahami Yawan. Ra'ash. Al Amaka. Yawayamu. Sawara. Oyata Yaitazmu. Al Tazapawanika. Amaru. Lakawa. Wanakahidam. Magawi. Wala'aya Zakar. Shamya Sha'al. Awar. Kaya. Nawa Atazwa. Laba. Yakarwa. Ayaka. Bayak. Yakaratwa. Ahali. Arwan. Waya Shemai Aliyam. Mawaba. Wahagari. Kabal. Wa'amawan. Wa'amalak. Palashat Tam Yashabi. Tazawar. Gam Ashawa. Nalwa. Amam. Haywa, Zarwa, Labanyo Lawa, Salah. Aisha Laham, Kamadian, Kasaya Sara'a, Kayabian, Barakal, Koyashwan, Nasamadu, Bayan Da'ara, Haywa, Daman, Ladama, Shatamu, Nariyamau, Karab, Wakizaba, Wakizaba, Wakizalmanai, Kal Nasayakamu, Ashar, Amaru, Nayurasha, Nanawa, Nawa, Alahaya, Alahaya, Shatamu, Kagogla, Kakwash, the Banyu Raka, Kaash, the Bayriyaira, Wakalahaba, Talaha, Haryam, Kantar Dam, Basarika, Wabasa Wapatka, Tablaham, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawah, Yabashwa, Waya Bahawa, Aya Ay, Waya Kaparwa, Waya Barwa, Waya Daiwa, Kaita Atam, Slaki, Kaya Tam, Slaki, Kaya Ta, Shamka, Yahawa, Labaka, Al-Yuan, Al, Call Harataza. In English, keep not thy silence.
Keep not that silence.
O God.
O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not that peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
Below.
Below.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
their enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against that people,
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
and consulted against the hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
let us cut them off of being a nation,
that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
that the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacle of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
the Hagarene,
Cabal,
Cabal,
and Ammon,
Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
the Philistine with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assyrians also joined with them.
Assyria also joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have helped the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as to the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kison,
at the brook of Kison,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They become dung unto earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
There you go. Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like a rare,
and like Zeeb.
and like Zeeb.
Yea,
Yea,
all the princes as Zabak,
all the prison as Zabak,
and as Zalamuna,
as Zalamun,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
O my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the star before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burn the wood,
as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So prosecute them with their temperance,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid of their storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Lord,
O Lord,
let them be confounded and troubled forever.
let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish,
that men may know that thou,
that they may know that thou,
that men may know that thou,
that man may know that thou,
whose name alone is Yahweh,
whose name of yours is Yahweh,
whose name alone is Yahweh,
whose name alone is Yahweh,
art the most high over all the earth,
are the most high all over Salaki,
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things live.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name Yahweh
and
Shah,
then Yahweh Shah,
listen to us now,
listen to us now,
right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses,
Send evil and curse,
and punishment and destruction
punishment and destruction
to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against
that
us,
speak against them,
thy prophets,
their prophets,
the teachers,
their teachers,
the princes,
their princes,
the priests,
their priests,
the Israelite
the
brothers,
Israelite brothers,
and the school.
and the schools.
Send evils and curses,
The evil and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose
and shake loose
the treasure of the rich of Israel,
and the treasures of the rich of Israel
that refuse to give to the school,
that refuse to give to the school,
force their riches,
force their riches,
to enter into thy sanctuary.
force enter to their sanctuary.
Send evils and curses,
Send evil and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the Edomites,
to the Edomite
and the nation,
and the nation,
and their drug dealers,
and the drug dealers,
court system,
their court system,
prison
their
system,
prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
her,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the government that are enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
and synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
Melissa,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
skinheads,
Skinhead,
Pascomatazi,
Qatar,
the gay movement,
the gay movement,
the lesbian
the
movement,
lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space program,
massive space program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marine,
Marine,
Wall Street,
Wall Street,
open up the internet
open up the internet
and the airwaves,
and the airway,
the cable access channel,
the cable access side,
and the radio channel.
and the radio channel.
Convict the spirit
Convict the spirit
of any of our people
of any of this people
that seek to stop us
that seek to stop her,
and bring swift destruction
to bring swift destruction
to all the heathen
that
stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your word throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake it that comes. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you always. So be it. So to the front. Shabby, be seated. That's good. It just seems a little crooked right now. So, Slovakia. A little bit more. Shalom Israel, Yahweh Shemi Yahshua Baruch to the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Latham Bashemi Yahshua to the sisters. This is the ISUPK, the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commanding General Yohana. We're not affiliated with any organizations. Israel, pay your taxes, man. So we are coming to you live from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Twin Cities, Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul location with today's Sabbath service. So if you've been following with us, we're not going to recap too much from last week, but to give a brief overview of what this chapter has been talking about. So we start off with the Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, the Holy Tongue, and then we translate that and break that down into the English. Every Friday, we have the Lashon Kodash classes. If you have an interest in learning our native tongue versus what's commonly known as our native tongues with the different indigenous dialects, with Spanish, with I've never heard a brother in America ever do like one of them clickety languages. We don't associate with that stuff. So it's important to, like, everybody wants to talk about knowledge itself. So this is a good way to start. You know, Zephaniah 2:1, gather together, on nation not desire. Paraphrasing. At least to go over some of the issues that we may differ on. At large, you know, we value community, we value family, we value a better quality of life than what we've experienced under this oppression. So how do we achieve that? At least we can start by gathering together, bringing it to the table. And Commanding General Yohana in the ISUPK since 1969 has made this proposition. And Commanding General Yohana has an open invitation. I mean, for anybody that wants to come to class, the Passover coming up, April 1st, Passover, Raleigh, North Carolina. You know, you want to make sure that you get all your travel arrangements set up, your hotel, your lodging, get your money right, $200 per adult, 17 and older. So you want to make sure that, you know, if you got a grievance of any kind, listen, if you want to go to your little, host your own little Israelite buffet or something like that. Listen, no sweat. No sweat. Just make sure that you come to North Carolina too. This is the Lord's 54th annual Passover. So you don't want to be that one stuck in the mud missing it. You also got Purim coming up, March 5th. It's right around the corner. March 5th at sundown, March 6th at sundown. So you want to make sure that you get in contact with school near you, see if there's any accommodations you need met or any contributions you are able to make. So we're going to get into this. We are in Ezekiel chapter 27, starting at verse 8. We're going to read it in the Hebrew first, and then we're going to translate this into the English, and then go through the breakdown, and let's get it going. So Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 8 in the Hebrew. Yeshabia, Taziyadawan, Warawat, Haywa, Shatyam, Laka, Kakamyak, Tazawar, Haywa, Baka, Hamak, Kabaliyak. Verse 9. Zaquani. It's like Zaquani. Gabal. Wakakamya. Haywa. Baka. Makazakuya. Barquak. Call Anyawak. Anywata. Hayam. Wamalakiam. Haywa. Baka. La Rabba. La Rabba. Myro selected. Myro Baka. Verse 10. Parsa. Wala wala. Wapawata. Haywa. Bakhlak. Bakayalaka. And Nashia. Malakmata. Magan. It's like a Magan. Ukawabat. Ukawabat. Talawabaka. Hama. Natanwa. Haruka. Verse 11. Bani. Or what? Okay, look up. Al Kawamawatika. Sabyaba. Wagamari. Wagamarium. Wamagadawa Wathia. Wamagadawa Wathika. It's like, hey, what? Shalataya hum. Thought of what? Al Kalamawatika. Kalamawatika. Sabyaba. Hama. Kalalawa. Yapayika. Verse 12. Tharashiyash. Thakarathaka. It's like Thakarathaka. Marba. Kahauna. Bakasa. Bakasa. Barazal. Barrio. Badiala. So like Badiala. Waiwa Purat. The Tanawa. Azbawanata. Verse 13. Yauna. Tabala. It's like the ball. Ramashka. Hama. Rabalaika. Banapash. Adam. Wakaliya. Naksha. Nathanawa. Marabakat was 14. Mabayatha. Taugarama. Sebastian. Waparashi. Waparadi. Nathanawa. Ajabawanyika. That is the end of verse 14 in the Hebrew. So now we're going to switch over to the English. Okay, copy. All right, so Ezekiel chapter 27, we're going to be starting at 8 to do kind of a quick overview of it. Just starting at verse 1, if you could. All right.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 1. The words of the Lord came again unto me, saying.
So again, this is still Ezekiel going through describing to the people, just putting it on record, the visions and the messages that he was getting from the Most High concerning many different issues. If you were following us through the beginning of Ezekiel, you're going to see all the different, not just transitions, but the different circumstances that were presented and situations that we were put in as a people that he was narrating, more or less. And again, the visions and the missions and the messages that he was getting from the Most High to deliver to the people. So now this is another example of that. So the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, verse 2.
Verse 2. Now, thou son of man, take up a lamentation for Tyrus.
So now he's not crying for Tyrus. He's not crying for Tyrus. You know, a lamentation is if you're in sorrow, you're in mourning. He's not taking up a lamentation for King Tyrus. He's just kind of narrating again the circumstances surrounding this. So this is almost him speaking for Tyrus in this sense. So now, fast forwarding a little bit. So it's talking about like everything that Tyrus had, and all the destruction that Tyrus was facing. Skip down to verse 8. Let's kick it off from there.
Verse 8. The inhabitants of Zidon.
Yeah, select it real quick before we get to that, just to give a better detailed overview. In this case, it was talking about all of the power that he had, all of the resources and assets that he had at his disposal. So now when it's saying, take up the lamentation for Tyrus. Verse 3, in saying to Tyrus, O thou that art situate at the entire sea, which art the merchant of the people for many isles. Thus saith the Lord God, O Tyrus, thou hast said, I am a perfect beauty. So again, this is talking about his dominance, everything that he had at his disposal here. So in verse 8, it's gonna be continuation of the things that he had in his resource. Continue.
Verse 8, the inhabitants of Zidon and Arvad.
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 So now, do we have the definitions? Do we have that looked up?
He give you a marine, that's all he got. Man, what sticks there? He had no definition.
For Zidon?
No, he had nothing for
Zidon.
Yeah, I got a one for Zidon.
Right, let's hear a little bit about Zidon. You got it.
Yes, sir.
You got it? All right.
Zidon,
Let them know where we're getting this from, too.
the Zondervan Pictorial Bible
So
Dictionary.
this is the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. You know, so we do our best to, when it's on hand, to provide sources. Otherwise, sometimes we might have to paraphrase information that has already been given to us. You might not have the book on deck, but we do have this. So continue.
Zidon, the ancient Phoenician city in the Lebanon.
The Asian Phoenician city in the land of Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Okay. So the inhabitants of Zidon. So this is talking about that populace, and we're talking about back then, not necessarily people that are in that land mass today. Even though culturally, a lot of them have been able to maintain their grounds from antiquity. So their people aren't as removed as like what you would see in America. How it's so mixed up. Europe is pretty mixed up. Africa is not that mixed up. Asia is not that mixed up. The Middle East is not that mixed up. Maybe amongst themselves, amongst their even their tribes, but it's not as mixed up as a lot of people might think. So when we're talking biblically, we're looking at these people, these nations of that region. So the inhabitants of Zidon and Arwad were thy mariners. So they used these people as their so Tyrus had these people as their seafaring kind of populace. Like that was his navy. That was his well, yeah, those were his mariners. Those are the people that watched over the sea, watched over the ships, did all the navigation with not cruise ships, but normally it's going to be cargo, the trading, things like that, military, things like that. So they're mariners. Do we got mariners? As far as the definition.
I got, do you have for a definition?
I know, sir.
You got something in Marine? I think it's the same Marine.
Well, let's read that real quick, see if it matches.
Okay, common gun. Okay. Marine, of or related to sea. Marine life, of or related to the navigation of sea.
Does it give any extension of the term marine to mariner?
No.
No sweat. Continue.
Oh, so like it. Of or related to the navigation of sea, maritime. Marine law, depicting the sea, seashore, or ship.
All right, so we can pretty much stop it there. So the mariner's job was pertaining to the sea laws, the navigation, learning the different ports, the different maps, the weather patterns, the current patterns, things like that. They were to be schooled in that marine life, like Free Willy type. You know what I'm saying? Like they were the men of the sea. So he had a lot of people that were. He had smiths, he had builders, he had carpenters, he had this, that, and the third. So from the inhabitants of Zidon and Arwa, they were made mariners. Thy wise men, O Tyrus, that were in thee were thy pilots. So now, people of his own. So he would keep kind of the people of his own as the helm. as the conductors, as the pilots, as the captains. So they would be the ones mainly directing, like giving the orders, taskmasters, more or less. Go down to verse 9.
So like here. Verse 9. The ancient of Gabal and the wise man therefore was in they the call all the ships of the sea with their mariner was in they to occupy their merchandise.
So the ancients of Gabal and the wise men thereof were in thee, thy coffers. So now again, we're talking about just kind of different job descriptions, different positions that were held in Tyrus Navy, in his army, in his military kind of conglomerate. So you got your land troops, you got your naval troops. Those were the two main methods of warfare at that time, land and sea. So he had his land soldiers, he had his seafaring soldiers, his mariners. And again, a lot of times when you're transporting goods, when you're doing trade, when you're doing business, you need security around that, because pirates aren't a new thing. That one movie, Captain Phillip or something like that, with the Somalians, banging on them like that. That's not a new thing. That's something that a lot of nations have always done. And a lot of scavengers, outcasts, criminals that would band together, for their own benefits. So when it came down to transporting goods, you needed a defense against those people that didn't have it, that had ill will. Well, not even ill will, just ill intentions, if anything. Because a lot of these people didn't necessarily even know each other. It wasn't a personal thing. It was just, they wanted what you had and you had what they didn't. So obviously they gotta get you for something. So now the inhabitants of Zidon and Arwa were thy mariners. So he put them in their position. Taking people, and it's similar to how King Solomon had used other nations for their attributes for his gain. So King Tyrus was doing something similar to that effect, using different nations' attributes for his gain. So in this case, we're kind of listing off the different nations and what they were applied to. So for verse 9, the ancients of Gabal and the wise men thereof. So the wise men and the ancients of Gabal were in thee, thy calkers. Did you get calkers?
Calkers. What verse that is, sir?
It's in verse 9.
Yeah.
You got the definition for that?
Yeah.
So now again, in the King James 1611, some words are spelled a little bit different. It's common terms that we still use today. They're just spelled a little bit different. So when people see them, they might get a little, shook by it. But to maintain that same biblical and factual integrity, we try to look up all the words that we can that may be a little bit different than what we're used to, just to bring clarification to it. Do you have that in there? All right, read.
Caulker, one who make a boat waterproof whenever in building or repairing. The man of Gabal, modern Jabal, was Caulker for Tyre.
There we go. So now the same thing that we see today in construction and in the Navy, with them waterproofing the ships, with them providing waterproof barriers and stability in holes and cracks in the houses, things like that. Caulkers. So now we spell it a little bit different today, CAULK, whereas back then, just in this time, it was CALK. Same principle, same mechanism, same attributes. That was just their job. They caulked the ship. They sealed up all the weak points, all the any holes, any fixtures that you might have protruding out of the ship. That they would make sure that they had a watertight seal on it, using the mechanisms that they had used during their technological era. And they had a lot of great innovations back then too. So it's not like they were like people weren't dumb back then. We had, and not just Israel, but the world in itself. I'm gonna say they stole a lot of things from us.
That's right.
But there's some other people out there that had some ideas. Ain't no sweat. We never discount anybody for being intelligent.
Yeah, I was here. You covered a lot of ideas with our impressive, but these girls are impressive that we inferior. You never accomplished nothing, did nothing. They just put it on the table.
Pretty much.
Somewhat like
Pretty much stamped their name on it.
Right.
Took credit for it.
Yeah. Make us feel inferior, that we wasn't worth nothing.
Yeah. And at a time when it was innovative, they, again, like how you said, they swept it under the rug.
Right.
Didn't give us no credit for
right.
it. And then capitalized off it.
Got rich.
And then built their navies off it, built their militaries off it, built their industrial companies off of it, built their agricultural society off of it. So like they were able to capitalize off of a lot of our ideas that we introduced to them that they didn't have in previous times. And we're still doing it to this day. Like there's still a lot of things that we invent, that we come up with, that we innovate, that we inspire, that they stamp their name on and they get the credit for. Like again, still Eminem is like, still labeled like, the best rapper.
That's right.
And for what reasons? Because like he's multisyllabic. Like he can I don't want to say it like that, but he can I don't know what term is legal right now. He can abuse a beat. He can mock a culture because he can mimic a culture. And again, you got a lot of innovations that were presented by the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to make our life a little bit easier under oppression, that were introduced into the industrial age and into agriculture, that made them profit, made our oppressors profit, and put us to further task. Because now, well, shit, you can produce 10 times more because of this machine, so that should make your job easier. So now you got to do 10 times more. Like it didn't necessarily give us a heads up on or a leg up on things. It just, they expected more out of us, and they took credit for it and capitalized off it. So now this is the same thing going on with Tyrus, capitalizing off of all the skill sets of these different people. So Gabon, having that seafaring, the mariners kind of intellect and knowledge about things, he put them to task for his purposes. Just like the Oaths of Bashan, because they made in verse 6, oars, and the company of the Asherites have made thy benches of yore, brought out of the Isles of Chittim. So again, using these different geographical locations and the people that were there, that inhabited that region, that were just good at certain things because of the resources that they had and because of the needs of not only their livelihood, but then everybody else's, because they inhabited a land that was abundant with strong wood, good wood for building ships, for building masts. They were like kind of a prized captive. They were prized people to be in affiliation with. If you didn't rule them, I mean, it was good to be in partnership with them. It was good to make a business deal with them. So again, they're looking at these different nations, these different groups of people with different attributes. A lot of it driven from the topography and the climate that they were in, the resources they had at hand, the living conditions that they had, and how they acclimated to it is what made. So like, if you go to North America, Gad, the tribes of Gad, they were so good at building canoes and fishing and hunting and gathering because they were surrounded by a lot of rivers and lakes.
That's right.
There was a lot of wildlife immediately around them, and there was a lot of plant life immediately around. So they got good at this and that, living off the land. They got good at that. There are other regions, so if you got people that were living in the desert, they got good at not only building their own shelters above and underground in the caves and in the rocks, but harvesting, resourcing. Your land, how you acclimated to it, brought out a lot of characteristics about who you were as a people. So the same way that we have been exploited in America, in North, Central, and South America, is the same way that these other nations were being exploited by the King of Tyrants. So Salakia, not to draw this out too far. But so we were at verse 10. Go get verse 10.
Verse 10. They are Persian.
We know who the Persians are.
And Lud. And of Put.
So now Put. Let's look that up in the Zion. You got that?
You're supposed to be ancient this morning. I read it years ago. Why did I forget? I was telling you.
So Put was a son of Ham, the progenitor of the so-called dark races, but not the Negroes. So they're going to list his sons, and they're going to give who his sons were. Does it give Put in there, or should we look up Ham?
We got it.
All right, get it.
Put. So Put, the third son of Ham.
The third son of Ham.
Genesis 10:6, 1 Chronicles 1:8. Put. Also elsewhere in ASB or RSB, his descendants are not named. A common comparison of translations of Hebrew Put in the King James and ASV and RSV reveal the difficulty of the location of Put.
I know, so I dropped that. Go to Ham.
Ham.
It's going to give the definition of who Put is. If I'm not mistaken, it is the Cushites. It's the land of Cush. For all you potheads out there, you might like that, but you don't even know that you in league with another people that ain't got nothing to do with you and ain't got no interest in you. Good?
Ham, perhaps Hot, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He becomes the progenitor of the dark races.
The dark races.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. So they make a very clear distinction between these dark races and not the Negroes. Continue.
But the Egyptians.
The Egyptians.
Ethiopians.
Libyans.
And the Canaanites.
So my fault. Put, I believe, is the Ethiopians. No, it is the Cushites. It's like we're going to look that up in a second. Good.
I think the ancient Somalians Put.
No, because Somalians are Japhetic. Okay, come on.
Put is it did say it there. It does say it. So we're gonna look that up in a second just to make sure that we get the definition right for the people. But Put was a son of Ham. I want you to try to find that. I'll keep on going with this. So verse 10, they of Persia and of Lud and of Put were in thine army, thy men of war. So he was using the Persians, the land of Lud, and or the inhabitants of Lud, the people of Lud, and of Put. They were using them as the military, like the groundsmen. You had the people of the sea, you had the people of the land. The two modern positions of warfare, or methods of warfare, I should say. They hang the shield and helmet in need. Slack. They hang the shield and helmet in need. That set forth that comeliness. So again, people that were just renowned and revered and respected for their warfare, for their combat skills and their dominance. That's what kind of what it's talking about. They hang the shield and the helmet in need. So like they would conquer people and just hang up their standard there to let people know that they were there, more or less. Verse 11, the men of Arwa, and we had seen that in verse 8, with thine army were upon the walls round about, and the Gemadims were in thy towers. They hang their shields upon the walls round about. They have made thy beauty perfect. So again, we're talking about like the defense system that he was setting up here. So he was using the Arwads and their army as kind of like the perimeter patrol. The Gemadims were in the tower, so they were like the watchmen up top, looking afar. They hang their shields upon thy walls round about, again, kind of letting them know like by which clans they were, and that, well, not maybe not so much that, but not only letting the people know who they were, but just solid, good at setting up the defenses, hanging up their shields. So like their methods of defense for their job that they were put the task to. They have made thy beauty perfect, and they made their thing look good. They were good at what they did, and they what's the word they magnified their office. That's what I was looking for. They magnified their office. Verse 12, Tarshish was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of all kind of riches. Of silver, it was like with silver, iron, tin, and lead, they traded in affairs. So the Tarshish, the so-called Spaniards today, the so-called Tarshish are the Spaniards of today, which, so again, more so merchants. So now again, with the merchants, you needed guards around them, but these were more so the money makers, the traders, the ones that he would commission to go get money, to go get resources, to go. I guess you could consider it similar to stocks and bonds today, Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency, things like that. How people just trading goods for it's at one day it's at this value, but because of however they set the standard, when they go to sell it, now it's at this value. So now like you get that inflation in the market. So they were just good at that. That was their task. So now in the old English, it's gonna look like it's pronounced Iwan. This is Javin in translated from the Hebrew into English. But this is just the old English because they didn't have the J's or the V's back then. So Iwan, it's going to look like it's going to say Iwan, but it's Javin. Tabal and Meshach, they were thy merchants. They traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in thy markets. So they were more so slave traders. And they had, I don't want to say menial tasks in comparison, but you had this other group that was renowned and known and set for gold and like fine metals, soft metals. And other not only industrial but ornamental metals that were put to use for that. Whereas these guys were Javan and Tabal and Meshach, the merchants traders in men, so slave trade, the vessels of brass in that market. That can also be considered with some of the armor that they had too, because they used to build a lot of swords and armor out of brass. Brass wasn't as precious of a metal as like silver and iron and tin. They were kind of more used to getting beat up and not as presentable, but also during, because you did have ornamental brass fixtures back then too. So a lot of it kind of come in from the locations that they might travel to. You know, two birds with one stone. So they might get these slaves from this one port, but they also had brass at that spot too. So they would just, you know, pick up both items at that same time. Whereas the other one, because iron was also used as weapons and defense. So in the same spots that they would mainly pick up their silver, they could get the iron and the tin and the lead and all that at the same time also. So just different designations, different tasks, different purposes from different nations. And again, Tyrus was the king over all this. He ruled over all this. He set everybody to task. Verse 14. It's like, have you got that?
No, you give me various locations and regions of Somalia and put, but you don't give me no validated information so far who was put is in there. You don't give me none of who put was people.
Okay, I think with the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, it might not be as extensive as like the larger book. But we'll get back to y'all with the identities of these people. So all right, you got 4 guys.
So like you got a little more information. Say put these man of mercenaries and stole these 4 helmets and stuff. That's about it.
All right, so that still kind of fits in with the description that was given here. But with the sons of Ham, the names of the sons of Ham are going to be important. We're gonna have to look that up though real quick before we go. So, 1 second. Read verse 14 while I'm looking this up.
Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 14. The man of Dadan was thy merchant, mainly
14.
of Salakia.
14.
They of the house of Targamah trade in thy fair with horses and horsemen and mules.
So he trafficked. What's the common word that they use nowadays? Not bovine, equine. I think that's the common term that they use for like horses, things like that. Equine, not bovine, but equine. Equitarius. Look up equine real quick with an EQUI, and an E, I think. So now, if we were to go into Genesis chapter 10, verse 6, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. So Put is a son of Ham. It didn't quite give that same. It didn't use the same terms for the sons of Ham or the progenitor or the descendants of Ham in the Zondervan, but we can correlate this back with the Bible. In Genesis chapter 10, verse 6, Put is a son of Ham. Spelled the same way, same definitions would be given. So when we're talking about some of the people that they're used, again, we can historically, geographically, archaeologically, we can start to pinpoint more and more on who these people are that the Bible is talking about. So these were historical events. Tyrus was a historical figure. He's not just mentioned in the Bible or fictitious literature. These other nations, so Egypt, again, you know, everybody recognizes Egypt. A lot of people don't know the origins of Egypt. So when we start breaking down the land masses, the bloodlines, the cultures of these people, the Bible is substantiated historically. So right now, in this portion of Ezekiel, he's going over some of the attributes, well, some of the benefits or resources that King Tyrus had. And it made him great over the other nations. And we had seen in the last chapter, in 26, I believe it was, how the Lord was going to send another king over Tyrus. Where is it? Verse 3, 26, verse 3. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and will cause many nations to come up against thee at the sea, as the sea causeth his waves to come up. And I know he had mentioned like the king of Babylon. He was, I will bring upon, all right, so verse 7. For thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, a king of kings from the north, with horses and with chariots and with horsemen and companies and much people. So Tyrus had, you know, a whole lot at his disposal. But, you know, there was always a bigger man. So he was going to bring these bigger men, these greater nations, and the accumulation of the nations to fall on him. Smaller nations that he would have been able to defeat individually, but together they would have been able to overcome him. So just giving kind of a historical background on what took place, you know, way back then, dealing with the King Tyrus versus damn near the world, but because his offenses against the Most High that were illustrated, where was it? Select 1 second. Okay, so again, if you were to go back to chapter 26, starting at verse 1, and it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, because that Tyrus had said against Jerusalem, aha, she is broken, that was the gates of the people, she is turned unto me. I shall be replenished, now she is laid away. So because he took advantage of our destruction, the Lord is also going to visit that upon him. So as much as he has gained off of our demise, the same way that America has benefited off of our destruction, off of us being drug dealers and drug users, drug addicts, off of us being criminals, America has gained an immense infrastructure, an immense economy off of us sinning against the Most High. But because of, so it's one thing for us to be punished by the Most High for our transgressions, but it's something else for them to exploit that. That's a completely different argument. In the way that these people have done it, it is an offense. It's one thing to have us captive and have us work, work our punishment off or something like that. But they didn't just stop there. They wanted everything, and they were never satisfied with it. That's why these other nations that come up against Israel, that come up against the Lord, need to be destroyed because of their not only jealousy but animosity against the Most High and against His chosen people. But at the same time, you got this other group of small-head individuals that don't nobody argue against. Nobody fights against them. But they push against us when we say that they are criminals, that they are liars, that they are imposters, and that we actually hold the true biblical identity of the Israelites. and we will maintain that until the kingdom comes. And by then, I mean, we ain't gonna have to argue this stuff no more.
That's right.
It's gonna come to a point where, like everybody's gonna end up serving the Lord.
That's right.
Everybody's gonna end up serving the Lord. Even the disobedient Israelites that
That's
don't want to
right.
serve the Lord, they're gonna have to serve the Lord. And it's gonna only be under one body.
That's
We
right.
established that here in the UPK and the Commandment Journey. The same way that Yahweh and his disciples had, there was a difference between them and the Sadducees and Pharisees. There's a difference between them and the publicans. And it was necessary to make that derision. Otherwise, you're gonna, like, people are gonna think, well, they're all serving God. They all got these records and these, these Bibles in their hand. How do we differentiate them? So affiliation is part of the key too. We don't affiliate with drug dealers, drug users, pedophiles, murderers, rapists, thieves. We chastise that over here.
That's right.
We got organizations right now claiming, Israelite lineage, whose leaders have crossed those same lines that I just named. They've been found guilty of those, not only physically doing it, some of them just say that biblically you can do this. And that's an abomination. That's blasphemous against the Bible, against the Most High. That's blasphemy. Saying that you can rape children, that you can rape female children, because that's how you're supposed to get a wife, or that's how you get a concubine. That's not biblically sound. So we are not affiliated with them. The same way Yahweh and his disciples were not affiliated with nobody else. And there was a clear and concise difference in between everybody. We need to maintain them grounds. Otherwise, you're going to have to make negotiations and concessions for somebody else's ideology and their way of life, how they think and feel about something. You're going to have to let that in. You're going to have to negotiate some terms with them. Whereas we just flat out say, no, you can't do that here.
That's right.
You're going to have to change up. You're going to have to repent. You're going to have to change your life if you want to be counted with that body of Christ. Because the body of Christ don't break laws. We don't transgress. We don't blaspheme the law, the Most High. But there's a lot of organizations out there claiming, again, that same book, same heritage, same culture, but do things that you can read that are against the Bible. The things that they do, you can read it in the book that are against the Bible, that are against God. And despite the claims and accusations that we have faced, you can't paint us in that same picture. The same way that you couldn't paint Paul and Peter and the other disciples that were renowned for their work, that were recognized and respected by the people. You couldn't put them under that same scope because they didn't do any of those crimes. They followed suit. That's the difference that needs to be made. It needs to be black and white. We would love everybody to join together. That'd be a beautiful thing to rebuild the kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of God. But you got people that can't hang. You got people that ain't gonna make it through. You got people that don't have the same integrity or care for their people. And we will not abide by that.
That's right.
So with that, we're gonna get back into these prayers. We appreciate y'all joining us, checking out UPK No Cowards Minnesota Sabbath service. Tune in with us on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, every Saturday for Brotherhood class, Scripture Breakdown and Law class, Lashwan Kadash, and Sabbath service. We've got the Feast of Purim, we got Purim coming up March 5th at sundown to March 6th at sundown. Get in contact with a school near you. You can go to isupk.com, make the connections. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to a school near you. We're not hard to find. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, MeWe, this, that, and the third. You can Google the hell out of us. Type in ISUPK in any major city that you are in, and you're gonna find one of our schools. You're gonna find a brother out there. Otherwise, we do have the online classes until there's something more convenient that you can travel, within a few hours of. No excuses. Make that trip. We used to travel all the time from Milwaukee to Chicago before Milwaukee got established. Now Milwaukee boom. You know what I'm saying? So, and same thing with Twin Cities, with Minnesota, with St. Paul and Minnesota, and Minneapolis. Like, started off with just a couple brothers here and there, and they kept on growing, kept on growing. So the connections that we make go a long way. So get in contact with the school near you. We'll see what's up with the feast with Purim, March 5th to March 6th. We got Passover coming up April 1st. Raleigh, North Carolina, Convention Center, downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. Make sure, again, you get all your travel arrangements set up. You're paying the Passover fees, $200 per brother or sister 17 years old and older. And if you pay that ahead of time, that's going to give you free access into some of the other events that we got going on throughout that time. So, don't want to miss it. Don't pay at the door just so that you got to end up paying extra. Pay ahead of time. If you got a little bit extra for somebody else, hey, kick it in. Right after April 1st is going to be starting at April 2nd. Sundown is going to kick off the Feast of Unleavened Bread. If you're going to be out of town during the start of Unleavened Bread, make sure that you get all the leavening out of your house ahead of time. Stay on top of that, whether it's the bread, whether it's the pastas, whether it's your toothpaste. There's a lot of different leavening agents that are kind of snuck into foods with weird names. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, again, get in contact with school near you. Look up UPK on the website, and just get your house prepared so that you leave it and coming back clean. With that, we're gonna say Amadu, which means stand. Upon your upper dome, turn to face the east, select. Upon your upper dome, turn to face the east. They say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. You can find it in Matthew chapter 6, verse 8 to 13. Abanawa, Shabbat Shema, Kodash, Hayat, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakuka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayat, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayat, Bashamai, the Thunder Now, Lakam, Ko, Yawam, Basalak Now, Kabawat Now, Kasalak Now, Kabawati Now, Wala, Tabiya Now, Bansawam, Abba, Hawsha Now, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahal, Wahata Parak, La Walami, Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us.
Deliver us not into temptation.
Lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanyam, Al-Hahariyam, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Azariam, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Waratazah, Al-Yatan, Lamwa, Magalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamaka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yashal, Yahweh, Shamaka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'a, Yakaka, Vayarak, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamaka, Makal Rai, Yashamal, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamal, Tazaaka, Wabawaka, Maita, Why, Awalon. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Pray for the cop, the power of the eagle. Yahweh Shemi Yahushai, Baba Kushai, the thunder now. Pakak, Pakak, Lara Pa'ah, call Makalat, or call Madawa. Pakak, Latahar, Abatazar, Pakak, Lahakwi, Hamathi, Pakak, Lara Kwa, Atamal, Lagarson, Bashim Yahushai, Dwarama. In English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse all slack, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Pray to bless Israel in the evening. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Barak Lanawa, Wayashala, Wabayat, Sapari, Barak, Rapa'ah, Magun, Hagun. Just for time's sake, Israelite School UPK, all of Israel. Bashim Yahushua, Wa'araman. In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahushua, bless us and Israel. In the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Psalms 83 in that evening. Alahayim, all Damiyalaka, all Takuras, all Tasqua, all Kayahana, Awabika, Yaham Yuwan, Raash, Alamaka, Yaramo, Sawad, Wayata Yatazmu, Altazapawandika, Amar, Lakawa, Monikaki down, Magalia, Wala Yazakar, Samya Shah, Awad, Kaya, Nawatazu, Laba, Yakarwa, Alyaka, Baya, Yakaratu, Ahalia, Arwan, Wayashma Aliyam, Mawaba, Wagari, Kabal, Wahamawan, Wahamalak, Palshak, Amyashabi, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalwa, Amam, Haywa, Zawad, Labani Lawa, Salat, Aisha Laham, Madian, Yasiyah Sara'a, Kayabian, Manakal, Koyashwan, Nashamali, Bayandaru, Haywa, Daman, Lagdam, Shaitamu, Nariyamaw, Kara, Bakazaba, Bakazaba, Bakazalmanak, Kal Nasakam, Ashar, Amaru, Nairashak, Lanwa, At, Nawa, Alai, Alaya, Shatamu, Kagogna, Kagwash, the Panyu Raka, Kaash, the Barrier, Wakalahama, Talahat, Haryam, Kantar Dab, Basaruka, Wabasa Wapatka, Tabalaham, Mala'at, Panyaham, Walawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamkat, Yahawah, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Ariai, Wayakapawa, Wayababa, Wayadaiwa, Kayata, Shamka Yahawah, Labaka, Aliyawan, Al, Call Harakzai. In English, Keep not thy silence.
Keep not that silence.
O God.
O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not that peace.
Be not still.
Be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo,
For
thy
lo,
enemies make a tumult,
the enemy make a trouble.
and they that hate thee
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They are taking crafty counsel
against thy people,
against that people
and consulted against thy hidden one.
and consulted against their hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
let us cut them off for being a nation,
and that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
that the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee.
the tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacle of Eden,
and the Ishmaelites,
the Israelites
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarim,
and the Hagarene,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
the Philistine with the inhabitant of Tyre.
Assur also joined with them.
Assur also joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Yeah, helping the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as to the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kison,
at the brook of Kison,
which perished at Endor.
that perished at Endor,
They became as dung for the earth.
and became as done as the earth,
Make their nobles like Oreb,
make the noble as a real,
and like Zeeb.
like the
Yea,
yea,
all the princes as Zabak,
and all the princes as Zabak,
and as Zalmunna,
as Adamun,
who said, Let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
O my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth for wood,
as the fire burning the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So prosecute them with their temperance,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with their storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they might seek their name.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish,
that men may know that thou,
that they might know that thou,
whose name alone is Yahweh,
whose name alone is Yahweh,
art the most high
are the most high
over all the earth.
of all the earth.
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of the heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
and then Yahweh Shah,
listen to us now,
listen to us now,
right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses,
Send evil and curse,
and punishment and destruction
and punish and destruction
to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us,
that speak against us,
thy prophets,
their prophets,
the teachers,
their teachers,
the princes,
their princes,
the priests,
their priests,
the Israelite brothers,
the Israelite brothers,
and the school.
and the school.
Send evils and curses,
Send evil and curse,
and punishment and destruction
punish and destruction
to the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose
and shake loose
the treasure of the rich of Israel,
and the treasure of the rich of Israel
that refuse to give to the school,
that refuse to give to this school.
force their riches,
Force their riches
to enter into thy sanctuary.
to enter into their sanctuary.
Send evils and curses,
Send evil and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punish destruction
to the Edomites,
to the Edomite
and the nation,
and the nation,
and their drug dealers,
and the drug dealers,
court system,
and the court system,
prison system,
their prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the government of our enemy,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogue and army,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
skinheads,
skinhead,
posse comitazi,
posse comitatus,
the gay movement,
the gay movement,
the lesbian
the
movement,
lesbian movement,
spies,
spy,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
national space program,
NASA space program,
army,
army,
navy,
navy,
Air Force,
Marine,
Wall Street.
Open
up the internet
the internet
and the airwaves,
and the airways,
cable access channel,
cable access channel,
and the radio channel.
and radio channel.
Convict the spirit
And convict the spirit
of any of our people
of any of their
that
people
seek to stop us
that seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction
to all the heathen
to all the
that
heathens
stand in the way
that stand in the way
and try to stop
or
us
try to stop
from
us
broadcasting your words
the broadcast of that word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plague.
Let use all the plague,
Cause them to go to and fro
cause them to go to and fro
through the earth and consume them.
through the earth and consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief
Let the plague shake the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahweh shot
Let your house up.
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucer
and punish all the heathen
and punish all the heathens
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak their word.
Cause it to be known by all.
Cause it to be known by all.
It is the angels that have done it.
There's the angel that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media
Cause it to be spread to the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake it that come.
Cause them to shake up their coming.
And then Yahweh shot.
In them y'all shot.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
Start to the front. Salute the scroll.
Yahweh, Hashem,
Yahweh shot.
Yahshua,
Barak.
Barak,
Yah.
Yah.
That concludes Sabbath service. Shalom, Israel.